Mike, check. Justin Hunt, it's all happening. Thank you to everybody rocking with the channel. Thank you to everyone subscribed to the channel, who shared a link, shared a video, let people know what we're doing over here. Big thank you to everyone who's donated. If you'd like to donate, you can hit the Cash App that's right up there, or you can hit the link in the link tree, which is the link to the link tree, which is in the description. I got that out okay, I think. And big thank you to all my new members, those who have joined this channel through subscriptions. Big thank you to Tiptoe, Shalina Irvin Paradise, Bonnie Allen Nadella, Enrique Maldonado, T. Jamal Lee, Nicole Cox, Epic Creo, 9-second applause. Thank you. All right, big story today. Yesterday we had the Squabble Up video drop. I did a reaction. Check that out on the channel. We also did a story yesterday on Drake filing a pre-action petition against Universal Music Group, essentially accusing them of rap battle RICO charges. Essentially, what a pre-action petition ultimately means is that they're, petitioning UMG and officials to provide certain information in case they want to file, essentially a RICO, rap battle RICO, against UMG for alleging potential payola, paying radio stations, alleging that Spotify took a 30% reduced cut to help boost Not Like Us, accusing them of paying influencers and not disclosing that. It's a wild case. It's a groundbreaking case, unprecedented. And today, there's another one. Drake filed another lawsuit. This one against UMG, alleging defamation over Kendrick Lamar's, quote, false song, Not Like Us. All right, so let's take a read through Billboard. Billboard broke the story. Here's what they say. The new filing, which claims UMG funneled payments to iHeartRadio as part of a pay-to-play scheme, sheds new light on the blockbuster dispute. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see what, we're in uncharted territory, people. Uncharted territory, okay? We're going to go through this. We're going to go through this article here, but we have never seen this before. We have never seen a diss track so effective that the loser of the battle is filing pre-action petitions to get information to clear his name and reputation. 1 second applause. All right, Drake has launched a second bombshell legal action against Universal Music Group over Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us, accusing the music giant of defamation and claiming it could have halted the release of a song, falsely accusing him of being a sex offender. Now, this song, famously Not Like Us, includes the line, certified lover boy, certified PDF file. Right. Okay. So, lots of discussions all year so far, especially out of those who look at this battle as being, ooh, that's crossing the line. So Drake is now taking legal action in regards to how that song paints him. Okay. So the story continues. A day after filing an action in New York accusing UMG of illegally boosting Lamar's track on Spotify, Drake's company leveled similar claims in Texas court regarding radio giant iHeartRadio. The new filing, filed late Monday and made public on Tuesday, claims UMG funneled payments to iHeart as part of a pay-to-play scheme to promote the song on radio. Now, what I find interesting here is that the first filing was in New York, which again has had New York State or New York. There have been payola cases filed in New York before. There was a famous one in 2006 in which a number of radio entities were found guilty of payola, right? So that's a friendly city, a friendly state to file if you're looking for a payola case. But this one's in Texas, which I think is interesting too. And I'm guessing a part of that has to be perhaps Texas is easier to, it's a more preferable, friendly state to make this type of filing. So this one's in Texas. The first one was in New York. But the filing also offers key new details about Drake's grievances toward UMG, the label where he has spent his entire career. In it, he says UMG knew that Kendrick's song falsely accused him of being a certified PDF file and predator, but chose to release it anyway. They say predators move in flocks. 1 second applause. Yeah, I mean, again, this is uncharted territory. Uncharted territory. You know, we have a rap battle that has now reached legal status. Here's a quote Billboard has from the filing. UMG could have refused to release or distribute the song or required the offending material to be edited or removed, but UMG chose to do the opposite. UMG designed, financed, and then executed a plan to turn Not Like Us into a viral mega hit with the intent of using the spectacle of harm to Drake and his businesses to drive consumer hysteria and, of course, massive revenues. That plan succeeded, likely beyond UMG's wildest expectations. So they're saying, yo, man, you know, you guys put the song out. You obviously heard it before it was released. You heard it before it went out. You heard what he was saying in it. You heard what he was saying in it. You know, you guys could have edited that out. You know, I mean, immediately this makes me think about what Kendrick really did say on Watch the Party Die, for example. What did he say that got edited out there? There was a line on Whacked Out Murals on GNX. I think there's 2 lines on there that are blanked out. You know, he does that, you know, sometimes, but it makes me even more curious and wondering, following this song here, if perhaps there's a connection there. I'm not saying there is or isn't, but, you know, this is alleging that they could have edited out or removed that line, and they didn't. And since then, we've got at least 2 songs or 3 lines from Kendrick that have been edited out. Something to think about. All right, so the article continues. Like the New York filing on Monday, the new petition isn't quite a lawsuit. Instead, it's a so-called pre-action filing aimed taking depositions from key figures at UMG and iHeart in order to obtain more information that might support Drake's accusations in a future lawsuit. In seeking that information, Drake's lawyers say they already have enough evidence to pursue a claim for defamation, which is something we talked about yesterday. Yesterday's story made this statement as well. They said they have enough information for defamation against UMG. And so today they're following up on that. But that they might also tack on claims of civil fraud and racketeering based on what they discover from the depositions. Rap Battle Rico. 1 second applause. Brand new territory. UMG and iHeart did not immediately return requests for comment on the new filing. Lamar is not named as a respondent in the filing and is not legally accused of any wrongdoing. Universal Music Group responded to yesterday's filing with a statement provided to Billboard. The suggestion that UMG would do anything to undermine any of its artists is offensive and untrue. The company said, "We employ the highest ethical practices in our marketing and promotional campaigns. No amount of contrived and absurd legal arguments in this pre-action submission can mask the fact that fans chose the music they want to hear." I mean, that's really a huge part of this. You know, this case is alleging rampant bot activity, payola schemes, racketeering, in the sense that there's collusion between UMG and Spotify, to where Spotify took a 30% cut to help promote the song. Now, I don't want to say, if I'm not mistaken, there is an actual plan that is open to artists on Spotify where you can essentially pay for playlisting or play for algorithmic preference, and they'll take a lesser cut of the streaming revenue. If I'm not mistaken, that is a thing. I feel like that was a thing at one point in time. Maybe I'm wrong. But those are the accusations, right? And they're also saying that all of this goes against standard business practices. Now, I think all of these are standard business practices. Now, whether or not they're positive, are they predatory against artists? I mean, check out Curtis King's channel. You know, he'll explain up and down every week. You know, he does a great job of covering how streaming can be predatory towards artists. You're right. I don't think anyone here is saying the music business or these standard practices have the artist's best interests in mind. You know, I find it personally interesting that all this becomes an issue when Drake loses. I do, and the fact that he's putting his name on it makes me wonder, again, what does a victory look like to him? What does a victory look like to him? Because I have a very difficult time thinking that this will actually end up in trial. I think there's going to be some sort of settlement. I don't think UMG by any means wants a bunch of artists saying they don't want precedents set in court, and they don't want a bunch of artists saying, "Hey, I too was hurt by UMG's business practices." So in that regard, I don't think that this is going to go all the way to court. A lot of this reads as if there's some negotiation going on somewhere, and this is this is part of a reason why Drake may be doing this. But this is a long way to go. Like this is by far unprecedented. Whatever brand hit he has taken through this rap battle, this adds to it. This will add to his brand value, definitely his reputation. But nevertheless, the second petition here is directly stating that he has received irreparable damage to his brand and lost a lot of money because of Not Like Us. All right, let's get back to the article. Like Monday's bombshell petition, the new filing in Texas is another remarkable escalation in the high-profile beef between the two stars, which saw Drake and Lamar exchange stinging diss tracks over a period of months earlier this year. Such beefs happen frequently in the world of hip-hop, but few thought either side would file legal actions over the insults. Never seen it before. It also represents a deepening of the rift between Drake and UMG, where the star has spent his entire career, first through signing a deal with Lil Wayne's Young Money imprint, which was distributed by Republic Records, then by signing directly to Republic. Lamar, too, has spent his entire career associated with UMG and is currently signed to a licensing deal with Interscope. In Tuesday's new petition, Drake essentially accused the music giant of using illegal means to unfairly prioritize one of its artists over another. Before it approved the release of the song, UMG knew that the song itself, as well as its accompanying artwork and music video, attacked the character of another one of UMG's most prominent artists, Drake, by falsely accusing him of being a sex offender, engaging in pedophilic activities, harboring S offenders, and committing other criminal S acts, his lawyer writes. Okay. This petition continues to read as if, obviously I think it's going to do this, it makes sense, but the petition reads as if this thing's happened in a vacuum, as if Drake was just, being a regular old rapper in a regular old rap battle, and all of a sudden these things landed on him. It doesn't include, the nature of this battle, which got personal once he mentioned Whitney. I be with some bodyguards like Whitney, alluding to domestic violence, and then outright accusing domestic violence, and then outright accusing his kid not even being his. This battle has gotten a lot uglier than I think perhaps we really expected it to. But these claims against UMG and iHeart, pointing out that they're illegal, again, like I said yesterday, there's no way that I believe Drake has not benefited from this. I posited earlier this summer in one of the videos where I talked about how if you look at the viral nature of this song, because this is a real viral song, whatever bots they're talking about, it did not persuade this song to impact people the way that it has. Right. This is legal gamesmanship, in my opinion. I think this is definitely whatever brand risk he's taking by now looking at the guy who called the feds, over a rap battle. I guess he's trying to get some big payout from UMG, ultimately. But again, in that video, it had clips of like kids at bar mitzvahs and school dances singing Not Like Us, like their recess depended on it. And I posited that, has Drake reached stranger danger territory? If you look at elementary schools, middle school kids, the way they grab onto certain stories sticks with them. And I always describe Not Like Us as a catchy tune that teaches Reconstruction era history and the type of people kids should stay away from. And in that description, you know, in that song, well, that type of person is Drake. Now, regardless of whether or not, you know, that is, any of this is true or factual, there has not been any evidence that says that Drake is a legitimate actual PDF file. I think that a lot of times in rap battles, people say things, or even in rap music, people say things that aren't true all the time. I don't know where this idea that things had to be true to be in a rap battle came from, but I do understand how that particular allegation, if you're a kid and you can't tell the difference, or someone's not necessarily explaining it to you, either way, even if you don't even think about this that deeply, there is an argument that Drake, because of this rap battle, has lost a generation. And so if that is the case, you know, there's a legal argument to be made that his brand has been harmed irreparably, and that, you know, it's only because UMG, you know, used what they described as not standard business practices. I personally think that these are very standard business practices, to be honest. Paying influencers, paying to get stuff on radio, one way or another. If you give me $1 million, I can get you into the top 10. Like, that's just how it goes, right? But, you know, there is a legal argument there. And perhaps this is an admission to how effective this track was. I mean, perhaps this is an admission to how much damage Drake incurred through this rap battle. And I would argue by simply just not being a better person, which I've said numerous times. Had he just kept it a friendly fade, let's let the skills do the talking and not talk about people's family members, which he's done in rap battles over the years. It's his go-to move. It's his finishing move. Or his special move, not even his finishing move, his special move. It's his Sub-Zero ice ball, you know what I'm saying? It's his Ryu Hadouken, right? That's what it is. And he ran into the wrong one this time. Again, I'm very interested to see if this actually turns into a lawsuit. I do not think it does, but a lot of these things that he's alleging could also be applied to him, right? I mean, Jeremy Heck, he is very interesting. He had 2 videos. We're going to take a look at those on here. Well, one of his videos ended up in the filing. We'll get to that one a little bit later, but then here's another one. I think he does a great job of breaking down the irony of this suit. So here's what he says.
This whole dialogue to me is that everyone says, of course you should take action against a song that is promoting a false allegation against you. But we all just seem to forget that Drake made accusations about Kendrick being a woman beater and fostering his business partner's child. But that wasn't egregious. But I guess we have selective memory. It's fine. All I'm saying is, don't use me as part of this propaganda, okay? I want no part of it. The other thing is, there are a lot of OVO stan accounts that I'm pretty sure are either sponsored by Stake, Drake's company, to promote certain narratives and certain songs online, help with numbers. I know this for a fact because a lot of them come for me on Twitter all the time. I may be Canadian, but I am not liked in some of these OVO circles. Does that mean that Kendrick's side isn't doing it? No. I am pretty certain that both sides have bots running around. But let's not throw rocks in a glass house.
Right. And I think that makes a great point. I've run into the same thing. You know, I think that the idea that UMG or, you know, they're paying for bots and all these things, or that they're paying for influencers and not disclosing it, I think this could go both ways. I think if you look at Stake or Happy Dad, or if you look at, you know, that sort of, you know, the number of influencers that are within that same sphere of influence, for example, you know, there could be an argument made, right? And, you know, through this process, hard for me not to see how this doesn't potentially have the impact or opportunity, as, you know, Jeremy just laid out, you know, have this come back around. You know, this is a very exposing thing, right? I think there's 2 things here that immediately do resonate with me. And one is, yeah, I don't think anybody really loves the way the music business works. But 2, the irony of arguably the person who's benefited the most is probably him and Taylor Swift over the past 15 years. that have benefited from these state of affairs one way or the other, allegedly. I'm not even, just looking at the size of their audiences, just looking at the priority that they've held within the UMG system. It'd be very difficult for me to believe that Drake hasn't benefited from this. A number of artists to me have benefited from this, especially if you think about how the music industry has become so top heavy. There aren't that many stars. There aren't that many superstars anymore. Most of, there's like a very small 1%, 2%, which seem to have access to all the levers of the music industry anytime they release. And then there's basically everybody else. So, for him to say these things or to make these allegations or, file these pre-action filings rings hypocritical, regardless of how you feel about the nature of the music industry. And at the same time, this is very significant, which is why I don't think that this is going to go to trial. Nobody wants to see, UMG does not want every artist looking into their business practices. So maybe he's just trying to get a big payout because of the damage that he's admitted he's incurred because of Not Like Us, because of this Shakespearean shakedown. All right. Let's see what some of the reactions are. Not Like Us was trending. Okay, so here's Cobb. Drake is going outside. Lawsuit number 2 today states that Universal should have edited the Not Like Us artwork verses to protect him. Drake does not remember that he also made claims of Kendrick beating his fiance, which UMG never edited out. Canadian flag will be set to half mast. That's funny. 1 second. Number 2, Anthony Moore. And to think I was out here streaming Not Like Us for free. There's millions of us that feel like this. I could have been getting paid the whole time. 1 second applause. Someone tried to ask me if I was worried about showing up in these filings. Because I think NFR podcast is in the filings. Academics is clearly in the filings. I think the filing yesterday was, also included the interview that acted with the streamer or with the guy who said that he was offered points to stream, he was offered points to bot Not Like Us. Points to bot Not Like Us, right? That ended up being, one of the reasons why Drake's legal team feels as though they should receive more information to figure out what actually happened around this. The next one. I streamed Not Like Us this morning 5 times just for the hell of it. That was Jeremy. We just saw him. This is funny. Instead of suing, you and the OVO team should make a song better than Not Like Us. Drake.
That's what we didn't have to go.
Oh God. I mean, this is going crazy. Yesterday in the UMG filing, yesterday in the filing against UMG, Jeremy Heck was also mentioned in the filing, and he talks about this in a video he put out yesterday. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at Jeremy's video, because another thing that the filing alleges is that Apple Music changed the Siri's algorithm so that when people requested Certified Lover Boy, it gave Not Like Us, right? And so Jeremy explains this, so let's take a look at this real quick.
Drake used my video in a lawsuit against Universal Music Group? What? What a week it has been. First we got the broccoli. Now we get the paperwork. Now this isn't an official lawsuit. It is what's called a pre-action petition. But Drake is basically claiming that UMG was using bots and other online tactics to push Kendrick's Not Like Us, inflate the numbers, inflate the streams, therefore degrading his image further in a song that called him you know what. Is this the guy who said never mind.
1 second applause. Cease and desist for hoes. I mean, that really did come back around, right? We were almost like 360 in some of the narratives around this. Early in the battle, I talked about this in Drake Deserves to Smoke. Early in the battle, Rick Ross accused Drake of filing a cease and desist against French Montana for a track that was on Mac and Cheese 5 that came out, right? And that's part of where the white boy claims came from, right? Which made Drake tell the world that he told his mom that Rick Ross was racist for calling him white boy, right? And then it came up in the battle again, a cease and desist for hoes. It's for hoes. Well, if it's cease and desist for hoes, what is a pre-action petition? 1 second of pause.
This is a Supreme Court of the state of New York document. If you scroll down a couple pages, one of the things that Drake is alluding to, online sources reported that when users asked Siri to play the album Certified Lover Boy by recording artist Aubrey J. Graham, Siri instead played Not Like Us, which contains the lyric Certified, an allegation against Drake. Now, it's interesting, this online source here, if you go to the footnote, number 15, it will take you to an article on Vibe magazine, and in paragraph 2, it says, Hip Hop DX's Jeremy Heck revealed the interesting tidbit in a video this past Wednesday. As fans saw the video and tried it out for themselves, they realized that it was happening to them as well. Play Certified Lover Boy on Spotify. Psst, I see dead people. That's crazy. Now, as a reporter, eventually they all concluded that this was happening because Siri utilizes lyrics along with albums and titles to play what was requested with a vocal command in case the user does not know the actual song title. Research and figure it out because this is going viral. They identify things using lyrics within the song. I'm assuming this feature is for people who don't know the name of a song, but they know the lyrics, and they ask Siri to play it. And Siri, can you play Drop, 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 Drop on Spotify?
Maybe in this song, you shouldn't start by saying...
So it went to Family Matters by Drake. Siri, can you play Wop, 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 Wop on Spotify? Psst, I see dead people. So there you have it. You'd think that they would include that part in the paperwork, but...
Right. And so, again, this isn't a lawsuit. This is a pre-action petition. They want more information to make a bigger case. Right. And so this is the second unprecedented filing that we've seen, but there's a lot of gray area here overall. Some things are absolutely actionable, in my opinion. The defamation case, that's something that will be up to argument, how it potentially could be up to how it's argued in court. Right. Because it does say certified PDF file, for example. So what does certified mean? Who certified it? In what capacity is that? What does that certified in the context of that song actually mean? That's something that could be argued in court, right? At bare minimum, to me, he is doing his best to put an asterisk on Not Like Us and add a layer of shadiness to the song, right? So that, okay, well, yeah, it's a big song, but, there was all kinds of bots. Oh, yeah, it was a big song, but UMG colluded. Oh, yeah, it was a big song, but, it kind of defamed my character, bare minimum, I also think that it's very crazy to see Drake go up against UMG. Now, perhaps, this doesn't make that big of a difference, ultimately, if they, don't go to court or whatever. But it does remind me a lot of Diageo. Like, Diddy went to head-to-head against Diageo. He filed, accused them of racist business practices and breach of contract. And, there's no facts here because they haven't taken place in court. But, he did that, and completely separate, arguably, or whatever, right after that, his whole world imploded rather, and all of the allegations that have been sort of swirling him for years came to light, came to legal light. A lot of times it's difficult when you try to outshine the system, is all I'm saying. And I don't know what that looks like in this situation. I mean, Drake is going up against the biggest music entity on the planet, accusing them of, colluding with radio and streamers to defame his character and ruin his brand. And those aren't light accusations, or given the size of Drake as a brand and as an artist and what he's actually accusing them of, to me, it leaves room for a lot of other artists to say that the same thing happened to them, which is also brand damaging and also potentially revenue damaging to UMG if this ever goes to court. But all of this is so risky. It's so risky. You know, like if you really think about this, Drake doesn't care about how he looks in this situation at all. He just doesn't seem to care, right? Whatever happened with this song, from his point of view, is more important than him now being the guy that filed lawsuits because he lost a rap battle. Now, we could look at this and say it's much more than that, but the things that he's accusing UMG of in this situation, arguably he's benefited from throughout the years. When he's filing defamation in a battle where he's arguably defamed. You know, Johnny Depp won his case against Amber Heard, but we learned a lot of things about Johnny Depp in that process. we really learned a lot of things about Johnny Depp through that process. He was vindicated in court, but I mean, is his brand better? I don't know. So, you know, whoever's advising Drake, you know, whatever lawyers he has on his team, whatever counsel he's seeking, I'm sure that they wouldn't advise him to take these steps lightly. Like, this is a major decision. And I'm not sure we'll ever look at Drake the same way. He'll always have his fans, he'll always have his supporters. I think he'll always be able to, you know, maneuver how he wants to maneuver. But regardless, again, of how any of this turns out, I really don't know what a victory looks like for him. Let me know what you guys think about all this. My name is Justin Hunt. Like, subscribe to the channel, follow at The Company Man on everything. It's all happening.
Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. The mathematical breakdown of this mighty game of rap we in. It's boom bapping in. Systematical culture views us radical, it's all happening. Shaking hands and dapping it. Life through the lens of hip hop, from trip hop to yes, y'all, you don't stop, you don't stop. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening. Justin Hunt is here, it's all happening. It's all happening, yes, it's all happening.